Splash Wave Beats, splashing the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. Man, I haven't done one of these in a minute. I ain't talked to you guys in a minute. I got my royalty-free jazz music playing in the background. I got some free stock video playing in the background as well of a city that I'm going to talk about in a minute. All right. You see the thumbnail. You see the title of the video. Top country for single men to travel to. And I'm only talking about one country. I only need to talk about one country. All right. And another thing, this isn't a black video. Yes, I'm a black man and I can only speak from a black man's perspective, but this is for everybody. This game right here is for everybody. So just keep that in mind. All right. Now on YouTube, I've seen a lot of guys talk about the same topic right here. In some of these countries they speak on, it's just like, huh? All right. So like one of the countries I heard guys talk about was Brazil. Now the women in Brazil, they look good, but that ain't it. I've heard guys talk about Colombia. The women in Colombia, yeah, they look good, but that ain't it. I've heard guys talk about the Dominican Republic. The women in the DR look good, but that ain't it. I've heard guys talk about Thailand. Now, the women in Thailand, they look meh, but that ain't it. Oh. And I've heard guys have the nerve to talk about the Philippines. Oh, the women in the Philippines, but that ain't it. None of these countries are it. All right. Now, keep in mind, I live in Taipei, Taiwan. I've traveled all throughout Asia. Okay, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures of different places I've been to out here and video footage. All right. And I met guys from different cities in America. I met brothers from Baltimore, Philly, St. Louis, Buffalo, New York, New York City, Cleveland, Chicago, LA, Dallas, New Orleans, Miami, Gary, Indiana, North Carolina, Virginia, Memphis, Tennessee, Alabama, you name it. Met brothers who travel from all over America, all throughout Asia. And, you know, when we just start having conversations talking about women and dating, I always ask them this. I said, would you mess around with the women from the economically deprived neighborhoods in your own city? So you live in Chicago. Would you travel to the South Side if you wanted some company in your bedroom for the night? Would you travel to the South Side to look for a woman? If you wanted some company? Brothers would say, hell no. You travel to North St. Louis. If you want to spend time with a woman for the night, would you travel to North St. Louis, North Philly, Opelika in Miami, Algiers in New Orleans? Brothers would say, hell no. So why would you book a ticket to do the same thing in an Asian country or in South America? Why? And let's just not focus on black women, right? Because, you got brothers in America, they talk about, a lot of black women in America, they're not cooperative. I wouldn't travel to the South Side of Chicago for a black woman. I wouldn't travel to the North Side of St. Louis for a black woman. I'm just done with American women. Let's just not focus on black women. You wouldn't mess around with women from economically deprived neighborhoods of different races in America either. You wouldn't mess with Hispanic women that lived in the barrio. Some might have. Some of you might have. You wouldn't mess around with a white woman from a trailer park home, or if she grew up in some dirty rundown apartments in Wyoming, North Dakota, Montana, Nebraska. I've been to these places, Oklahoma. I've been to Middle America. Didn't see any brothers there. But you want to travel all the way to Asia and mess around with women who are deprived of resources in their own city in that country. Hell, you guys don't even, when you go to these countries, you don't even hang around the college town, university areas in some of these cities, which is where you should be at. You don't hang around the fly upscale areas. You want to go to the gutter. You want to go to the dilapidated hip hop club where they're playing the most violent ratchet music possible through speakers. Everybody's in a low frequency, intoxicated trance listening to this music. And you want to lay down with the women like that in poor areas in Asia that come up out of these hip hop clubs. That's the first place brothers go to. Not only do communities with a low socioeconomic status have poor education and are typically low household income families, there's a mentality that comes with that too. And you see that mentality in America. That's why a lot of brothers they're done with it. That's mixed with social media. I mean, we tell black people who come from these type of environments that they need therapy all the time, right? You're dealing with low quality women with nothing to lose and everything to gain from harming you in some of these countries. And you see that, like, you know, how many times have we seen brothers get set up and robbed and get killed in South American countries? I mean, if you look at this list of cities with the highest murder rates, I mean, the top 50, 19 of those cities come from Mexico. 10 of those cities come from Brazil. 6 of those cities come from Venezuela. 3 of those cities come from Colombia. 2 of those cities come from Honduras. 1 of them comes from Guatemala. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy yourself and have a good time in some of these countries. I'm not saying that. But we've all known somebody, or we've seen these stories where, you know, brothers not even flossing. They just have like a little chain that's tucked in and people can see, like, you know, the gold around the neck from the back of the neck. What was that one brother in Brazil? Like, he bought out the entire apartment complex or something, had his own business, had his own restaurant, had a woman, and then randomly some guy wanted his chain. And what did he say? He said no, and they killed him. Deep down inside, I got a feeling that woman set him up. And you see stories like that all the time in Asia also. You see stories where dudes are getting drugged, set up, robbed, killed by their significant others in Asia all the time. All right. And you see it in South America. Brothers are getting drugged, robbed because they're flossing too hard. Hell, they're not even flossing. Women are asking them for their Instagram, and they add them on Instagram, and they see what they think you have and come up by setting you up. All right. So what is the country I want to talk about today? All right. I want to talk about Canada. The city that you're looking at right here in front of you is Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. But I'm going to talk about Canada in its entirety in 1 minute. Okay. Let me just finish with this other part here, and then I'm going to talk about Canada. When you travel to some of these places like Pattaya, Phuket in Thailand, and different hostels throughout the Philippines, I want you to take a look at the foreigners that are at these nightclubs with you. Do they look sane to you? Do they look normal? Or do they look a bit eccentric and weird? But yet you keep going back to these places. I mean, well, not now, but before the lockdown, I would see brothers, coming around Pattaya like every couple of months, every 6 months, every 3 months, every 4 months. Unfortunately, you have a lot of low self-esteem, socially awkward brothers out here who like hood rats. But see, the thing about it is these hood rats in America, they're very violent and they're dangerous now. And they got social media. Thing is, you want to fly all the way around the world, skip over the city with all the fly, extravagant, luxurious scenic routes, restaurants, and venues like what you see right here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, that they have to offer, and go straight to the slums and lay up with psychotic drug addict women who honestly have vitriol towards black society because you think they are easier and much safer to deal with. If you've actually lived in Asia, you would know that the leftover rubbish, debris, junk, residue, trash women of that country, they get with brothers. They're the ones that get with brothers, unfortunately, because they have a strong anti-black culture in Asian society. You don't typically you don't see brothers getting with women under the age of 25 who are in shape, who have their mother and fathers in their life, that come from upscale neighborhoods, who have low body counts, women that aren't loud and rude, soft-spoken. You don't see that. Those women are getting with their own men. Once they have been deemed as no good by their own men, most of the time they go to white men. Once they see that white men don't want them anymore, they get with whoever's non-black. Once that don't work, they'll get with somebody black, but most of the time you'll see them. And I've had women tell me this before. Asian women tell me this before to my face, that they don't like black babies. They don't like dark-skinned black babies. They want light babies. And it's like, okay, so why are you getting with black? I'm a black man. Why are you even trying to talk to me in the first place? Well, I'll just get with somebody light-skinned. Well, I'm not light-skinned. But do you see where I'm coming from? Do you see the sickness in that conversation right there? That's not an uncommon conversation in Asia. That's how they I've had women come up to me and say, why do people in America want to tan and get darker? Why? A Filipino woman asked me that before. Because we want to get whiter. And I just, I didn't even give an explanation. I said, ma'am, I told her, get some help. You're sick. I mean, do you not hear how insane that sound? I mean, do you not hear how stupid that just sound? Like the words that just came out of your mouth and just said that, like, and the thing is, I don't give people a pass, because I see a lot of brothers, in America, you see them like they're recording themselves going off on rude, racist white people, rude, racist Hispanic people. But yet, like out here, a lot of brothers, they give a lot of women a pass. And I'm like, you see brothers like, and women, black women too, a lot of Asians, they know that the average black person, they could just walk up to them and just start rubbing on their hair, touching their hair, rubbing their skin, touch their face. And you see a lot of brothers on YouTube and women on YouTube just say, oh, they're just curious. Some of that. You slapped the blood out of a black person's mouth who did that, who if they did that in America, or somebody called, you would slap the blood out of their mouth out of any other race who do that in America. But when you come to Asia, like, it's just, you give everybody a pass. And there's a lot of women out here who talk with that black scent, that act like the negative stereotypes. Like, you go up in these hip hop clubs in Asia, you got women who act like the negative when they want a black man, they act like the negative stereotypes from our community, not the positive stereotypes. They act like the negative stereotypes. They talk with a black scent. A lot of them are overweight, high body counts, kids. Nothing to show. Like, some of these women, they don't have jobs. They're not making that much money. They're poor. And I'm not dumping on women that are poor, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? They like the negative stereotypes of black society once they've decided to pursue black men. There's some of these women, it's like they're using the N-word too. You got a lot of brothers who, they want to send me screenshots of women that they follow. Some of these women in these developing countries out here in Asia, the women that they follow from these clubs or whatever. And, they're tagging some black man, and they're mad at him, and their friends are joining in. talking crazy to him about him, using the N-word, talking about his mother, talking about black women, N-word bees. I've seen a lot of that. Brothers sending me that. I'm like, yo, stop sending me that. He was like, oh no, I just wanted to say that, no, you were right. You know how many times I've gotten that before? A lot of these women out here, like, especially in economically deprived areas, what wakes them up in the morning is the fact that they're not black. I want you guys to really think about that. Really think about some of the women you've laid down with if you've ever traveled out here. What was their, economic background? Where were they on the social economic status? What class were they in? The majority of what brothers are going to tell me was they're really low class. And if they did come from, a middle class family, some of these women, like, they're over 25, they're overweight, they got a kid, like, it's always something. It's always, and I know everybody's not perfect, but it's always something major. I'm like, you could have done that in America. You didn't have to travel all the way over here to do that. You could have done that in America. Brothers that say, oh, but I'm just having fun. Yeah, so many brothers out here getting engaged to these women from Pattaya and Phuket. Got brothers following them on social media. You know what I'm saying? You got brothers upset that the girl blocked them and they're not talking to them anymore. If it doesn't faze you and you're just having fun, why are you upset that one of these women who has banged everybody from every country that then walked in that club, why are you upset that she's not talking to you anymore? Why do you care? Yeah, I lived in Thailand, but man, I went to Pattaya like literally 3 times in my entire time I was there. The years I was living in Thailand, I only went to Pattaya 3 times. I went once just to see what it looked like, and then 2 more times to visit friends. That was it. Friends that were traveling in, and they like, I want to go to Pattaya. And I didn't even stay I never stayed an entire 24 hours when I went to Pattaya. I hated Pattaya that much. I like class. I like quality. That's what you brothers got to start. This is why I'm showing you this video right here. Do you see anything that looks anything like even close to some of the little rundown areas you go to in the Philippines and, Thailand in this video right here, or places in South America? There are fly spots in South America. So I will give South America that, but you don't have the crime rate up here in Vancouver. You don't have the crime rate like that. You don't got to tuck your gold cross chain that your grandmother gave you years ago. You don't got to tuck that in Canada. You don't got to dress homely looking. Guys talking about, I don't give women my Instagram unless I know them like that. You don't got to do that in Canada. But see, the thing is like a lot of brothers, they haven't given Canada a thought or a chance because it's, to them it's too cold. And they think it's too close to American culture. It's just too close to America. But yet you hear guys talking about, Asia, it's a cheap place to have fun. My mother always told me you get what you pay for. You spend $1,000 round trip on a round trip ticket to get a cheap experience and a cheap outcome, when you could spend $300 on a plane ticket to Vancouver, a plane ticket to Kelowna, a plane ticket to Montreal, a plane ticket to Toronto, a plane ticket to Ottawa. You could spend $300, right? The extra $700 goes to your 1 week of your hotel and live on a Subway diet or a 7-Eleven diet for the rest of the time that you're there. But here's the thing about Canada. And let's start talking about Canada. Let's start talking about the weather. It's too cold. Man, you need to get over that. The best places, the places where you're going to pick the best quality, best looking, most cooperative women are in cold climates. If anybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about brothers who's actually pulled 8s, 9s, and 10s. They know what I'm talking about when I say that, if you travel. The highest quality, most cooperative women you'll ever want to meet are women who you'll find in the wintertime because they really don't want to be out there. Man, I'm really spitting some game right now. Y'all want to go to these hot ass climates with these hot ass, fast ass women who want to set you up, get you drugged, get you robbed, take everything from you. And is that going to be everybody's experience? No. Is that going to be everybody's experience? No. Hell, on this channel right here, if you go back to some of my old videos of me recording a guy by the name of Tumac, if you go back, you can pause this video and look up like all the Thailand story. It was like one long interview that I had with him, and I broke that down in like 7 parts or something, 6 or 7 parts. Dude, Tumac, if you listen to those stories, it's nothing but horror stories about Thailand. It's just horrible. You like, damn, why does this dude keep going back over there? And he's still trying to go back over there to this day. And then, he's been to Brazil also. And his first time ever going to Brazil, he was just walking around and he wasn't flossing. He dresses real homely. I won't say homely. He just wears shorts and shirt. Shorts, like basketball shorts and a shirt whenever he travels. And a guy in Brazil, a random Brazilian guy, pulled a gun out on him. Say, hey man, give me your wallet and your passport. And the thing is Tumac, he didn't buck. He didn't buck at all. He was going to give it to him, but the dude pulled the trigger. He just said, give me what I want and I'm going to shoot you anyways. And the dude pulled the trigger before Tumac could even give him, his passport and his wallet, and his gun jammed. You know anything about guns? The reason why a gun jams is because you got one bullet in the chamber and you got another bullet from the magazine that's trying to go into the chamber at the same time. So it's like they're brushing up, colliding with each other, and you got to take the magazine out, take the bullets out, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, well, you got to take take the bullet out the chamber, then let the bullet from the magazine go up into the chamber, then you can shoot it. But his gun jammed, and he was able to run off and get away. That's the type of experience a lot of these brothers are having. If you listen to the stories of Tumac I have on this channel. And I'm not saying, that can happen anywhere. It can happen anywhere. You're going to have good, bad, but let the good outweigh the bad. Let the good experiences outweigh the bad. Let's do that. Black men in particular, brothers, come on, we need to step our game up. Quality. I want you guys to say it with me. Quality. Come on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Quality. Yeah, it sounds like a piece of heaven rolling off the tip of your tongue when you say quality. Here's the thing. In Canada, the women are very aggressive. And when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about violent, mean, or rude. I'm talking about when they like what they see, they go after it. And these women, especially in Vancouver, they are dimes, 8s, 9s, and 10s. I remember my first time going to Vancouver was like 2010. Like 11 years ago. I go over there, but I went with the chick. And mind you, the chick that I went with, I put this on everything I love. I put this on everything. The chick that I went up there with, the thumbnail that you see, that girl in the purple, the chick I went there with, it wasn't her. It was a friend of the family. It was a friend of her family. And I took that picture in Saskatchewan, in Regina, Saskatchewan. The chick that is a friend of her family that I went to Vancouver with, she wasn't living in Vancouver at the time. She was living in Salmon Arm, BC. Okay, Salmon Arm, BC. Salmon, SALMON, Arm, ARM. It's like, north of Kelowna. Me and her used to go to Kelowna and Kamloops all the time. But anyways, how do you think I got there? To Salmon Arm, BC. Salmon Arm doesn't have an airport. Kelowna does. The next town over, Kelowna, has an airport. She booked my flight to go to Kelowna. Then from Kelowna, went to Salmon Arm. Then from Salmon Arm, I said, hey, let's go to Vancouver. I ain't never been there before. We went to Vancouver. She paid for everything. If anybody knows anything about Canadian women, they love traveling down. Like if you live in America, especially if you live in the South, they love traveling down south for the winter. They want to get away from that cold in Canada. That's what I'm saying. Them women, when you go out to the club in Canada, they don't want to be there. That's why, they are extremely thirsty when you go up in some of these clubs in the wintertime in Canada. They find out you there visiting, and they appreciate it too, because it's kind of like, man, I didn't have to go down to Seattle. I didn't have to go down to New York City. I didn't have to go down and book a flight and go down. Like you just came up here. And they barely see brothers from America coming up there. It's still like a country that's somewhat untouched. And you think, oh man, because Drake is so popular, Party Next Door and all these other, The Weeknd is so popular, man, Canada's probably flooded now. No, it ain't. No, it's not. No, it is not. Brothers are not. I don't know why brothers don't go to Canada, especially Vancouver in particular. I for the life of me, I do not know why. It's frustrating. Like my head hurts when, I talk about Canada and then you got brothers coming up with millions, different excuses on why, why they shouldn't go or why they don't want to go or questioning, this, that, and the third. Because you got too many guys on YouTube talking about other countries. I'm like, oh, okay. Because they haven't heard people talking about Canada like this before. But then when I ask them, okay, some of these other guys that you're referencing, you follow their advice, right? Yeah. You went to Brazil, right? Yeah. You went to Colombia, right? Yeah. You went to Thailand, right? Yeah. You went to the Philippines, right? Yeah. Show me pictures of when you went to South America. They'll show me a picture of like some lady that they mess with. Woman is like 40 years old with kids. I'm like, you could have done that in America. you saved up money and, took vacation time off to mess with that. Even different places in Europe, like, Russia and Germany, it's like, I'll see guys, they'll brag about a lot of brothers, they just brag that they got a woman around because that's something they're not used to. Not all, but it's like, okay, you bragging about that? I'm like, man, do you know how much better you could do if you went to Canada? Getting back on that story, I remember the first time I went to Vancouver with old girl. We flew in Canada, and then the train, the SkyTrain is connected to the airport, so we took the SkyTrain over to she had booked a hotel downtown. I'm like, oh damn, she paid for it. I didn't pay for nothing. So then we're like, okay, let's go to let's explore. Let's just travel around, Vancouver. Let's she told me about a mall. I think it's called Metro Mall. So we took the train over to Metro Mall. And while we got on the SkyTrain and we took the train over to Metro Mall, I'm looking around at the car, the train car we was in, and I'm like, damn, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, there was literally like 6 or 7, like 8s or better on that train. I was like, oh my God. I said, the women look like this out here? The Asian women were bad in Vancouver. My first time meeting a Taiwanese woman was in Vancouver, and we hit it off. Everything went good. Her sister was real friendly. Her sister was real cute. They introduced me to their little group of like a Taiwanese, circle that they hang around with. Went over to this bar / restaurant / karaoke spot, and I'm at a table. It was nothing but Taiwanese people. They were super nice to me, friendly, and the girl I came there with, I got pictures of her, with her too. Extremely cooperative. And another thing about Vancouver, there's so much to do and see there. It's not even funny. And there's so many hangout spots in Vancouver. There's different hangout spots in Vancouver. I mean, this drone footage that you see right here, man, I would walk along this area all the time with women. Like I said, these women are aggressive. Like, they don't care if you got a girlfriend. As a matter of fact, that girl, and I want to respect their privacy. That's why I have their faces marked off with red ink, because they've moved on. They're in relationships now. That girl on the right, originally her older sister hollered at me. But her older sister, her face is real strong. And I'm like, damn. She wanted to holler at me. I'm like, okay. So, I got up in the light and I saw it. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, Lou Ferrigno looking face. I was like, oh. I was like, all right. Hey, I said, this is what I said to her. This was over 10 years ago. I said, I'm going to take your number. I'm with my boys, right? When my song come on, when a good song come on, I'm going to text you, look at your phone, and then, I'm going to text you and meet me on the dance floor, and, I'll come kick it with you again. But I'm going to go kick it with my partners, all right? She was like, okay. I did not want to talk to her again. When I went on the other side of the club, her sister followed me. That girl in the right followed me. I was like, damn, aren't you, your friend was trying to holler at me like, oh, that ain't my friend. That's my sister. I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, your sister was trying to holler at me. So she's like, so? I mean, I swear, the line that most brothers say that you're going to say quite often in Vancouver, or not just Vancouver, but in Canada in general, is, are you sure? Are you sure? Hey, your best friend, like me and your best friend, we together, like, I mean, aggressive, like, nah, I don't care. I want you to give it to me. I ain't gonna tell. Are you sure? Vancouver, there's this club called 550, right? You'll meet a bad chick, right? 8, 9. Real good, showing you like major cooperation in the club. You're like, oh, damn. Look, real exotic. And the feeling is strong. Like, she really wanted that night. You're like, okay, damn. You're like, you gotta ask me twice. She wanted, I'm gonna give it to her. And She'll tell you, she's like, okay, you'll tell me like, hey, I'm in this hotel for the hotel. Oh, no. I have a loft in North Vancouver, so why don't I'll just come to my spot. Are you sure? Yeah, come on, let's hurry up. I got work in the morning. Are you sure? Man, come on now. All right. Here, you can drive. Are you sure? Yes. Man, you go up in the parking lot, she hands you some Range Rover keys. Some 2021 Range Rover keys, all white. You're like, are you sure? Yes. You drive over to your hotel, you get your stuff, you bring it down to the whip. You go to her spot. You look at her condo, you look at the area, you look at her condo, you like, damn. Damn, she's sitting on some paper. Come on in. Are you sure? Yes. You get in, man. You get some of the most ferocious head you ever want to get in your life. You smash. She get up early for work and she's cooking you breakfast and she got to get to work. Like, damn. She's like, here, come on, take me to work and you can, take my car and ride around. Are you sure? Yes. Come on, man. You know how many times I've done that? I'm like, man, I just met this chick and I got the keys to her house. I got the keys to her Range Rover. And that's another thing about Canadian women is like when they see you, if they like you, they love hard, like extremely hard. You like, and it's like scary hard. Like, man, I just met her. I just met her. Hey, come on now. Did you get your money back for that hotel? Yeah. But you paid for that. You just paid for that one night, right? Yeah. Here's some money. You can go shopping. Here, go shopping. Are you sure? Yeah. You riding around a 2021 Range Rover with $1,000 in your pocket that she gave to you. You didn't even ask for it. You're like, oh man. That's the type of treatment I'm talking about. In Canada, you're dealing with women with jobs, with cars, with houses, lofts, condos, apartments. You're dealing with women like that in Canada. You're not dealing with women like that in South America, Thailand, and in the Philippines. Not to say that they don't exist. But man, the average women, you dealing with bums and scrubs. The number one drug of choice is meth. Everything they tell you, they gotta lie. Everything is a lie that they gotta tell you. And it's like, damn, you didn't even have to lie about that. Everything is just like everything about women you're dealing with in some of these developing countries. It's just real tacky and raggedy and trashy. I'm telling you, when you go to Canada and they find out you American, see, the thing is like, all right, especially in Canada and other countries, a lot of places, like they got this bug up their ass about Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like that's if you meet anybody. All right. Especially the dudes, because it's like, you pull up and you're getting all the attention. You dress nice. Like you're the original. A lot of people, whether they want to admit to it or not, it's like they kind of copying your drip in Canada. But it's just like, and a lot of women, you kind of feel like they low key don't really respect their own men. Because a lot of dudes are corny in Canada. There's nothing wrong with being corny, but it's just, you can see that a lot of women do not respect their own men in Canada. I'm sorry. I just got to say that. A lot of these women in Vancouver, they're always going to Seattle for the weekend. And when they see brothers in Vancouver, you stick out like a sore thumb, and they do not waste up on the opportunity. There's nothing shy about them. They come up to you. They want to make sure, no, I'm down for you. What do you need? Hell, you don't even got to ask. I'm just going to give it to you. Man, do you know, like, me and my partners, man, our goal when we went to Canada is like, all right, if we going to Canada for the weekend or for the week, our goal is to book a room after we get out of the club. Book the room after you get out the club. Because we going up in here, we're going to meet something tonight and we're going to go back home with her. So we don't got to pay, this expensive, hotel tab. Because $80 is like a rundown. $80 a night is a rundown hotel. You on average just spend like $120 a night. There's been a couple of times I booked a hotel room, but man, when you go up in some of these clubs, you're like, man, I've never spent the weekend, because I used to live in Canada for 6 years, all right? But before, when I used to just travel and visit Canada, I'd never spent 2 nights in a row at a hotel before in Canada. Never, ever, 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 ever. When I got there, the first night, sometimes I booked before I would get there, but before I would hit the club, then I meet somebody, then I go back to my hotel, check out, and then go to her house and stay with her for the entire week. I don't want to make this video raunchy, but I got stories in Vancouver. Stories. There was this one girl I was messing around with in Vancouver, man. It was... Man, just like I explained earlier, nice loft. She wasn't pushing a range. She was pushing, at the time, she was pushing a brand new Hummer. And it was red. And she just throw me the keys. I'm like, yeah, just drop me off at work and go do your thing. And I would go see that Taiwanese chick after I drop her off at work. Like, it was... So don't sell yourself short. In the words of Mac Dre, rest in peace, he said, treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. You're cheating yourself hanging around in these low income areas in some of these developing countries. Like I said, I don't want to dump on everybody that's there. I don't want to, disrespect anybody that's there. But let's tell the truth and shame the devil. Canada, man, in Canada, man, especially for brothers, the Canadian women are thirsty. They are beyond thirsty. That thumbnail you see, that was a regular night. Do you know how many pictures I have? Just like that. I can only post up one thumbnail at a time. You know how many pictures I have just like that? You know how many times I've showed up to the club and a girl who's very fine and attractive shows up with her boyfriend, and then she wants to start a random argument with her boyfriend for the night, break up with him so that she could go home with me? You know how many times that's happened? And we're talking 7s, 8s, 9s. I remember for a long time I was in a relationship with this one woman. We were the same age, so I'm using woman respectfully. Busty. Had her own business. Had her own business. Doing her thing. Making money. Making good money. Had her own business. That one girl I was telling you about who was like booking my flights, she would book my flights all the time. I didn't have to spend nothing when I would go to Canada and go see her. The one that's a friend to the family of that girl in the purple. Her aunt and her uncle didn't have any kids, and they owned like this grocery store / gas station in Salmon Arm. And they wanted to give it to her. And she was loaded. Like, she was living in this 5-bedroom house. Like, it was insane how big the house was, right on like the little lake that's there. Beautiful view. You open up, you pull back the curtains to the windows, to the big windows in that house. and you see the river right in your front yard, and then the mountains are right across from the river, right there, right in your yard. I mean, it's an experience that, you know, you can't even describe in words. I remember and when it was hard to be with her because when I would go to like Salmon Arm, Kamloops, Kelowna, you know, we would go to some of these like nearby spots, and I remember like I bent the key to her house. I was like, damn. So I had to go to the hardware store. Right? I'm like, okay, let me see if they could bend it back together and I can make 2 more copies of this. So I go to this hardware store. There's nothing but women working at this hardware store. I'm like, okay, that's different. And there was this chick working there. She was bad as hell. I'm talking about she was a bona fide 9. I'm like, damn, she bad. And she was trying to holler at me. I was like, damn. She was like, oh, I mean, she had this look like, oh my God, like, you know, this man just walked in here. Him? No. My prayers have been answered. That she had that look on her face. And she was like, you know, where are you from? What's your name? Like, how long are you staying here? You know, what's your number? I could show you the area. And I had to slow her on. I'm like, you know, I'm with another woman. I don't really know this place like that. It's a small town. I don't want to get in too much trouble. And you just work at the hardware store. You ain't trying to book my flights or nothing like that. We go to Kelowna. There's so many, like we went to the ski resort, the Big White. It's called Big White. Big White Ski Resort. Look that up. I'm the only black dude there. Man, there was so many bad chicks on skis giving me choosing signals. Like it was insane. It was insane when I was in Kelowna. Cooperative. We go to Kamloops, you know, we go in the grocery store. The chick, you know, that's running the register is giving choosing signals. I'm like, damn. Vancouver, all over British Columbia, women are choosing. I would say, like, man, stay away from Alberta. All right, just stay away from Alberta. You know what? Saskatchewan. If you want that raunchy, low quality, you know, gutter hip hop club experience, like, you know, the same experience that you get in the Philippines and Thailand, then go to Regina, Saskatchewan, or Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. All right. Go to Winnipeg, Manitoba, but, you know, be mindful. They're very territorial of their women over there. So, I mean, that's all over, but I mean, for real in Winnipeg. So if you don't mind getting into bar fights and duking it out in the middle of the street, then go to Winnipeg. Oh, and don't even get me started on Toronto. I went to Mississauga, and the women out there, I mean, I went to Mississauga, the mall in Mississauga, and there's another mall called Something Mills in Toronto. I forgot. Something Mills Mall in Toronto. The women in those 2 malls, I mean, it was like, it was like I was just a walking stick of honey and nothing but these hoes were like bees just swarming all over me. It was insane. I didn't even make it out the you know, you walk through the department store first when you go through a mall, then you get to the middle of the mall. Man, like I'm walking through the makeup department. And, you know, women that work at the makeup department, they're either really old or they're young and they're fine, but they just got a lot of makeup on. Women in the makeup department were hollering. And if I'm lying, I could bring my partner Sammy on. He'll tell you because he was there the whole entire time with me. He's like, no, he ain't lying. He's telling the truth. He ain't lying. I could call up Sammy right now. I'm gonna get Sammy on. He can vouch for everything I'm saying. We go up in Mills Mall. I'm getting like 3 numbers out of there. Like, I'm not even doing anything. See, the thing is when you're from America, like when an authentic American brother steps into the room, like everything, it's to them, like Canadian women, they don't even see Canadian men at that moment in time. It's like, okay, you corny, like, all right, go away. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to him. The dude from Texas, the dude from Georgia, the dude from Florida, the dude from Cali, the dude from Philly, the dude from New York. I want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to you no more. And the best time to go is in the wintertime. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, when these women, when they see something they like, they make no bones about it. They don't hold back whatsoever. They are going to tell you. And they are going to try to lock it down. They'll be like, hey, if I feel like this, I know plenty of other women feel like this about you. And this is what I'm going to do to separate myself from them. Here's my car keys. Here's my house key. Here's some money. And it's like, damn, I'm okay, cool. I don't need that. I'm not asking for it, but you know, like, damn, they serious. So guys, man, have you ever been to Canada before? You need to go to Canada. Go to Canada. Look how fly this place is. You don't have to go to the slums in some raggedy hip hop club and listen to women talk black scent. And talk crazy to dudes and set guys up and, you know, be disrespectful and rude to men. Like, no, come to Canada. Women are cooperative. They're polite and they freaky as hell. And if you've been there, let me know in the comment section. Like, nah, I've been there. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. Now, you know, if you're a short brother, you know, if you're kind of short, then the women, you know, they kind of not, you know, they're not really, you know, you might have some issues. Yes. If you're really short, you're going to have some issues. If you're African, you're going to have some issues. But if you're American or if you're Jamaican, man, you clean up real nice in Canada. And we're talking about women with class. Not all of them, but I mean, the lowest of the lowest class in Canada is still higher. Still a higher class than the women you deal with in the Philippines. No disrespect, but it is what it is. Hey man, like, subscribe, share this video. Let's have a conversation. Leave a comment below. All right. Check you guys out next time. Peace.